All right, welcome, ladies, to my four-step formula where startup coaches are using to master their message and enroll their next four-figure client. If this is your first time joining me for a live training, welcome. Listen, I see some of my clubhouse faces here on the screen, and it's really making me excited. I'm so glad for you to finally be able to put a face to the voice that you hear on Clubhouse, whether or not you're on Clubhouse or you're on social media. However, you've accessed this training, I welcome you into this space. I am super excited to pour into you over the next 60 minutes or so, making sure that you get clarity on how to show up as the expert in your coaching niche while building your six-figure coaching business. So, once again, welcome to my four-step formula that our startup coaches are using to master their message and enroll their next four-figure client. So let's go over a few house rules. I want to cover some things before we jump into today's training. Number one, this is not the space for templates. Chase Great University is about strategies that are customized according to your process and your journey. So we are not big on plug and plays. We're not big on plug and go strategies. We really help each client work through their process so that they can show up at their greatest potential. What I've learned in being in the coaching space is what works for me may not exactly work for you in the same manner. So what we tend to do is we tend to work with you one-on-one so that we can really get a better idea of how to show up or how you can show up in the industry and really establish yourself as the expert. So once again, this is not the space for templates and plug and go strategies. This is not the space for individuals who are not serious about their coaching business and taking it from start to six figures. So if you're still trying to figure out whether or not the coaching space is for you, if you're still trying to figure out whether or not you want to really impact lives and create high income and high impact in your coaching business, if you haven't yet really decided, then I'm going to go ahead and ask you to exit here, right? I want you to make that decision and say, you know what? Yes, I'm ready, or no, I'm not quite ready. And guess what? I won't be offended. If you're not quite ready, it's okay. Here's your moment. We're going to take a quick pause so that you can lift that one finger up and exit to the left. Again, we will not be offended. We want you to enter into this training serious, and we want you to enter into this training committed. Lastly, the strategies that we are going to share with you, they are not Googleable, right? They are not Googleable strategies. What you will receive is 100% proven result. Okay, 100% proven results. The strategies that I'm going to share with you on today are strategies that I've implemented in my coaching business back in 2012, where I've been able to grow and develop and go into full time in 2014. And Chase Gray University is now a multiple six-figure coaching agency. And so we want to make sure that the resources that we've used to not only start, grow, and monetize our coaching business, but we want to share those same resources with you so that you can grow and monetize your business as well. If this is your first time joining me, rocking out with me, welcome to my space. Welcome to the Chase Gray community. I welcome you. I thank each and every one of you amazing ladies for joining us for this live training. So tonight I'm going to make sure that we cover the basis for you to take a deep dive into your coaching business and the things that you need to grow your coaching business to the next level in the new year. So allow me to introduce myself. I am your vision coach, Latoya Early, and I am the owner of Chase Gray University, where we serve and support amazing professional female startup coaches, helping you to become the expert in your coaching niche while building your six-figure coaching business through niche certification. I landed in this space because, again, I started coaching back in 2012. When I first started coaching, I was helping both service-based and product-based entrepreneurs start their LLCs and grow their businesses, right? And so when I first started, I was doing a lot of paperwork, a lot of filing, a lot of LLCs, 501c3s, grant writing, business plans. Listen, I remember the day that I was sitting in bed with my husband and I was on my computer, and I had a client send me an inquiry saying, hey, I want a business plan. We went through all of the intake information. I told them how much the business plan was. I think at that time it was about $3,500 for a business plan. And he was ready to go. He said, okay, where do I send my deposit? And I said, unfortunately, at this time, I am no longer accepting clients for business plans. Let me tell you, my husband was livid, y'all. He was so mad at me. He's like, how dare you turn down business when we over here need money, right? And in that moment is where I realized I was called to something much greater than sitting behind shuffling papers and pulling together content for businesses, right? I knew that it was something more unique about my gift in coaching. And this is where I started to unravel and get clarity on who I served and what I am supposed to serve my clients. So I've helped dozens of professional female startup coaches discover their niche and master their authentic message. I've been able to help them massively increase their online visibility with their words and create and monetize their coaching programs in their niche. I specialize in helping startup coaches change how they view themselves and their gift in coaching, how they package or present their coaching business, and how to take their business from start to six figures in their coaching niche. I shift from working with product based entrepreneurs and all of service based entrepreneurs because I knew that when I started coaching, I had the hardest time showing up as the expert. I had the hardest time with my messaging, learning who my client was, learning how to price my programming. And it wasn't until I started to struggle in marketing is where I learned the amazing benefit to niche marketing, right? I learned the amazing shift to niche coaching. And so this is how we got here today. The niche certification program was designed and developed based off of a space where I needed the most support, being able to show up and be the exact thing that God called me to be while building my coaching business at the same time. So let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Now, I want you to be honest with yourself. As a matter of fact, I want everybody to go ahead and pull out the chat. Okay. I want you to have your chat ready. I want you to have your fingers ready so that you can type into the chat. I want to address really quickly the elephant that is in the room. Now, if this is you, I want you to let me know in the comment, right? Let me know one or two that you've downloaded every free training trying to piece together a strategy that works. Give me a one if you've done that. Give me a two if you're like, nah, I didn't do that. I don't download free trainings. Because listen, I know I did. I downloaded training after training after training trying to piece together a strategy that worked. Let me know. One, if you've done this. Two, if you haven't. Now, this is a safe space. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure I went through that registration list before we started, because I want you ladies to feel comfortable and I want you to feel safe in this environment. So again, let me know one or two. How about this one? You've Googled strategies that's taken hours away from your life. Now, I know I am not the only one who attended Google University. I know it. I know I'm not the only one, right? Here we go. One of you've attended Google University, two of you haven't. You're like, Google? No, I don't go to Google. Maybe you go to YouTube. Maybe YouTube is your avenue, is your platform. But I want you to take this time and I want you to think through this. Number one, if you've Googled your strategies that's taken hours away from your life, I want you to put a one for yes in the chat and a two for no. Let me go over here to the chat really quickly so that I can see. All right, I see him. I see him. Listen, I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. Get it. This was definitely me. This was all me. I love it. All right, how about this one? How about this one? You offer your program at a low price point because you really don't believe your audience will pay for it. What about that one? That's a touchy one. Give me a one for yes and a two for no. You're like, nope, Latoya, I offer my programs at a good price point. I know my ideal client will pay for it. I'm just waiting for them to show up. Or you're saying, no, Latoya, I definitely lowball myself because I am not confident that my ideal client is going to invest what I know I should be charging. A one or two. Let me know in the chat. I'm seeing them. I'm seeing all of these ones and twos pop through, and I'm loving all of it. For those of you who are catching us on replay, listen, you want to make sure that you are answering these questions, right? Make sure you're answering these questions. I love it. I see ones and twos. I like both of them, right? Yes, I've lowballed myself. Sometimes I've made a good offer. Sometimes I've lowballed myself. I've been nervous. I've been afraid. I didn't know. It's okay. Listen, we've all experienced this. Lastly, you find yourself trying to convince people to buy. Give me a one for yes and a two for no. A one for yes, a two for no, right? I see a lot of ones coming in, right? I see a lot of ones. Now, for those of you who have listed a one for either one of these, then you need to stay in the room. This room is for you. Now, if you posted a two for all of them, then maybe this isn't the space for you. And it's okay. Listen, it's okay. You can stick around for the good information, or I'm going to give you that small pause moment for you to go ahead and lift that finger up and exit to the left. I won't be offended. I still love you. I'm still here for you. But this training is for those of you who selected one as a majority. You're saying, yes, I've downloaded free trainings trying to piece together strategies that work. Yes, I've tried the Google strategy that has taken hours away from my life. Yes, I'm offering programs at a low price point because I really don't believe that my audience is going to pay for it. And yes, I am so tired of trying to convince people to buy. If this is you, then you are in the right place. And I'm so excited. So during our time together, again, I'm going to share with you my four-step formula. Okay. This is the four-step formula that startup coaches are using to master their message and enroll four-figure clients without convincing them to buy. That is probably one of the biggest headaches when it comes to positioning yourself as the expert, when it comes to asking for the sale, when it comes to showing up in your content and in your marketing, where you show up and you're confident in the solution that you have to the problem without trying to convince someone that you have the solution to your problem. This training is going to be good. So by the time we are finished, I want you to be crystal clear on my specific niche marketing method. Okay, so write this down. Go ahead, pull out your pen, pull out your paper. I want you to write this down because I want you to be crystal clear on my specific niche marketing method. Number one, I want you to be crystal clear on how to become niche specific so that you can be seen as the expert. Okay. I want you to become crystal clear so that you can be seen on how, so that you can become niche specific so that you can be seen as the expert. Okay. Number two is I want you to be crystal clear on how to craft a message so that you can speak directly to your ideal client. Okay. I want you to be crystal clear on the specific message so that you can speak directly to your ideal client. Number three, I want you to become crystal clear on how to clearly identify your specific ideal client so that you can serve on a higher level. When you know exactly who your specific ideal client is, you're able to serve and deliver at a much higher level. And I want to help you get there tonight. Lastly, number four, I want you to become crystal clear on how to be focused on the specific problem you solve so that you can enroll four-figure clients. Now that is the meat and the potatoes. That is the that's the key to success when it comes to coaching, is knowing how to focus on the specific problem that you're called to solve so that you can enroll four-figure clients. So let me know if this sounds a little familiar. I know that we went over the 1-2 check and making sure that you went through some of the we addressed the elephant in the room to make sure that you were in the right space. But let me know if this sounds familiar. You know that you are so talented in so many areas and you feel like you're having a hard time just narrowing it down to just one thing. Is that anyone in the room? Let me know on the chat. If that's you in the room, you're so talented. You know that you can solve so many different problems, but you are having a hard time narrowing it down to just one thing. I know what I'm trying to say in my message, but it still comes out confusing and unclear. It's so funny how in our mind we can hear one thing, right? We know one thing. This is so funny. For the coaches who are a part of Chase Gray University, this is why we do our niche statements or our power statements every time we enter a room. Because in our mind, it sounds one way, but the moment we start to articulate it and verbalize it, it comes out all different type of confusing, right? So you're not the only one. How about this one? The people you're attracting aren't willing to pay, right? The people that you're attracting aren't willing to pay. You feel like you're not an expert and you don't have enough coaching experience. You're saying, how can I put a four-figure offer on my coaching program and I don't feel like I have enough coaching experience? Let me know in the chat. If any of these things sound familiar to you, I want to know in the chat. I want to know if this is something that each of you may be battling with. Because if this is something that you're battling with, then you want to stay tuned for the next pieces of information that I want to share with you. So here's why you're really struggling. I know that you thought those things were reasons why you're having a hard time in your coaching business, but let's really talk about the real struggle, right? The real struggle is you haven't truly recognized the value in what you know and the things you've experienced, right? We're talking about why am I having a hard time enrolling that next four-figure client? Why am I having a hard time mastering my message? Why am I having a hard time pulling together content that speaks directly to my specific ideal client? And here's the real struggle. You haven't truly recognized the value in what you know and the things you've experienced. You haven't decided to be the expert and truly commit to the process. Some of you are sometimes picking up coaching, sometimes putting it down. One minute you want to be a coach, the next minute you don't. When things are going good, I'm a coach. When things are a struggle, I don't want to coach. You have to make the decision that I am going to show up as the expert and I'm going to commit to this process. Number three, you're afraid of becoming a sought after leader because you don't feel like you're qualified. How many of you, let me know in the chat, how many of you struggle with this? You're afraid of becoming a sought after leader because you don't feel like you're qualified. You don't want people looking at you and creating this idea that you're not qualified enough. How many of us know what the definition of this is? Right? This is, I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna tell you what that is in 1 second. Imposter syndrome. I couldn't get it out. That's what this is, right? When you don't feel qualified, when you feel like you're false, when you feel like you're not showing up, when you feel like, what I'm giving is not good enough, it's called imposter syndrome. And sometimes we'll begin to fall into that space where we feel stuck. But let me tell you, I'm going to show you. I'm not going to just tell you, I'm going to show you how you're already qualified, right? How about this? You have a dysfunctional relationship with money, and it's hard to stand by premium pricing when you see money as a struggle instead of a seed. How many of you are assuming what your client will pay for? How about this? How many of you are assuming what's considered affordable? Understand that affordability is a mindset and you can afford anything you desire. But are you willing to shift your thinking so that you can? Right? So I wanted to take a moment and really address the real struggle. Those things that we talked about when we just talked about some of the things you think is the problem in your business, it's really a much more deep rooted issue that we have to tackle, right? So here's what I know for sure. Until you start to believe in the unique gift God planted in you before you were born, Jeremiah 1 and 5, you will never experience his abundance through serving and supporting people while earning six figures. I'm gonna read that again for you because I want you to absorb that. I want you to really sit on that. Until you start to believe in the unique gift God planted in you before you were even born, you will never experience his abundance through serving and supporting people while earning six figures. Understand that the gift that God is giving you in coaching was designed to do what? Bring you wealth. And until you really believe in that gift and know that that gift can create wealth in your life, then you're going to continue to struggle. But the moment that you say, you know what, God has given me a gift and I'm going to use this gift to not only create wealth, but to serve people, that's when you start living and living life more abundantly. Okay, I'm going to get back focused. So, here's what happens once you make the shift. Once you make the shift that we're going to talk about tonight, you're going to start to see a massive shift in your peace and in your freedom. It's so funny. When I was a child, I used to hear older people pray for peace, right? I used to hear older people pray for peace. And I never understood why people would pray for peace. Like what is happening in your life that you need to use the blessings, the prayers on peace until I got older, until I started gaining responsibility, and still I started living life, right? And so one thing you want in your business is peace and freedom. And once you make this massive shift in your coaching business, you're going to really break through to a level of peace and freedom that I don't know if you've ever thought that you'll ever experience. You'll no longer be fighting the process, you'll start admiring your progress. Once you make this shift, you'll start to see a massive shift in your message and the people you attract. You'll start to see a massive shift in your monthly revenue and how you view money. So I want you to meet identity coach Dora. In the first 30 days of joining the DISH certification program, Dora was able to secure her first client without even being done with her packaging, her promoting, and pricing of her program. She said, not only did the client move forward, but she is paying a price that I honestly was afraid to disclose to her. I have secured my first four-figure client, which was $1,800 client. I am so overwhelmed. Latoya, thank you for your guidance and pushing me to my fullest potential. Ladies, this is just a testament that our ideal client is absolutely positively waiting on you. Listen, Dora has been rocking out and I absolutely love it. So here are the four shifts that we're going to go talk about today. Number one, we're going to talk about shifting your niche. Okay. We're going to talk about the importance of being niche specific. Number two, we're going to talk about your messaging and how important it is to be specific in your message. Number three is identifying your specific ideal client. And then number four is the problem you solve. How specific is the problem you solve? Or are you still being general, right? Are you looking to solve every problem for everyone? Or are you ready to truly hone in and become the expert in solving a specific problem so that you can not only enroll four-figure clients, but so that you can establish yourself as an expert and become well versed in solving this problem, which is then going to truly magnify your coaching business. So here's the first shift. How about we talk about becoming niche specific so that you can be seen as the expert? Now, keep in mind when we talk about growing your coaching business, a lot of times when people are introduced to the coaching space, they're introduced to the coaching space as what? A life coach, right? How many of you, let me know in the chat when you first started, throw one in the chat when you first started, you started out as a life coach. Let me know. I want to see. I want to see if some of you may still be life coaches. Let me know. And that's okay. That's why you're in this training, to really understand and learn how unique it is for you to shift from being a life coach to a niche specific coach. And we're going to talk about that. So, becoming niche specific so that you can be seen as the expert. When I first started coaching, that was the first form of coaching that was introduced to me, right? However, I remember God very clearly telling me that I was called to be a vision coach. I knew that I wasn't a life coach. I knew that I wasn't a business coach, but yet I couldn't find the right training or support to help not only develop the gift, but help me really enhance the skill while making money, right? And so when we talk about becoming niche specific, understand that people pay generalists. They'll pay a life coach. They'll pay, people who are providing a much broader result or speaking to a much broader problem, but they're willing to pay more for experts. And that's when we talk about that four-figure investment, right? When we talk about the six-figure formula here at Chase Gray University, we talk about that four-figure investment. We talk about how establishing yourself as the expert yields a four-figure investment. People pay for generalists, but they are willing to pay more for experts. Niche coaching is what separates you in the industry, right? Niche coaching is what separates you in the industry. It doesn't limit your reach, but it magnifies your visibility, right? Niche coaching will not limit your reach, but it will magnify your visibility. So let's go ahead and break this down a little bit more. Discovering your sweet spot and focus on a specific problem you solve for a specific person. This is what niche coaching is, right? Niche coaching is learning how to discover your sweet spot and focus on the specific problem you solve for a specific person. Your niche is a laser focused marketing strategy that will establish your expertise and magnify your message. So if you're still wondering, why do I want to become niche specific in my coaching business? You want to become niche specific so that you're able to focus in on solving a specific problem. What does this do for you? This is what helps you become well versed in this particular area. And now you are establishing yourself as an expert. And this is what validates that four-figure enrollment, right? That four-figure investment. So the very first shift that we need to do is shift you into being niche specific. So I want to take a quick moment and I want you to write down really quickly, what do you believe your niche is? When we talk about the niche, keep in mind we're talking about that specific problem you're called to solve, right? What is that area that you focus on? Is it mindset? Is it self care? Is it transformation? Is it trauma? What is that sweet spot that you're able to show up in and deliver the most effective result? Okay. That's what becoming niche specific means. Let's go ahead and meet mindset coach Latrissa. This is one of Chase Great's absolute favorites. She's so awesome. She said, I have learned so much since enrolling at Chase Great University. I've already received payment from 2 clients and a referral after implementing the things that I've learned just in the first level. This is an amazing course that helps the coach be in a better position to assist those assigned to them by God. I am grateful for information that I have received. We are so grateful to have Latrissa a part of the Chase Great University community. So let's go ahead and jump into the second shift. Let's go ahead and jump into that second shift. We want to help you really craft a specific message so that you can speak directly to your ideal client, right? So we're talking about Chase Great specific niche marketing method. And we're talking about getting specific on your niche and then now being specific in your message. When we talk about being specific in your message, you want to be able to capture your audience's attention in 30 seconds or less, right? Why waste words? Why waste that time on words to make you sound good rather than words that speak to their current situation? You want to be able to craft a specific message so that it can speak directly to your ideal client. Your power statement or your niche statement should clearly identify who you are as a coach, your specific ideal client, the problem you solve, and the results you will help them get, right? This is how we craft a specific message. Now, when we're talking about the specific message, not only are we talking about crafting that power statement, but we're also talking about crafting niche specific content. And so while that's a whole nother lesson, I want you to understand that that falls into that four-step formula, because if you're crafting a specific message, you have to learn how to craft niche specific content. When you're able to speak directly to the problem of your specific ideal client, you're now able to attract them on a higher level. right? And you want to make sure that you're doing that every time that you show up to share your messaging. So here's what happens when you don't craft a specific message. You attract people who are not your specific ideal client. And in doing so, it becomes more challenging to get the results you know you can help your client get. When you aren't crafting a specific message, one of two things happen. Either one, you're unable to get clients at all because the messaging may not be clear enough, it may not be direct enough, you may not be giving them the exact thing that they're looking for, or two, you may be attracting clients, but you may not be reaching your maximum result because of the type of client that you're attracting, right? So when we talked about how to break down that power statement, that's super important in crafting that specific message, because you want to make sure that you're speaking directly to the client who's going to show up in your coursework, implement what you are sharing with them, execute, and then gain the results that you want them to get. So let's go ahead and meet personal success coach Shalita. So I've spent countless hours consuming free information, getting in free groups, and downloading free offers. I've even paid for memberships, templates, and webinars. I work with a branding coach, a business coach, and a life coach. It was informative, but didn't clarify things for me. Then I saw a post from Latoya and what she was doing. I like what she said, so I researched her, but I didn't take action. I said, Lord, if you keep this at the forefront of my mind, I'll join her program. I thought about it daily. I joined the program and knew in our first session I made the right choice. Nothing has been the same since then. I'm a better coach, a better entrepreneur, a better wife, a better friend, a better woman because of what she pulls out and pours in. Um, the lives are great, but the anointing on and in her life are priceless. Yes, you are the coach's coach, but you are also a difference maker. Thank you for making a difference in my life. Thank you so much, Shalita, for such an amazing testimonial to share with our community on this afternoon. So let's go ahead and jump into the third shift, right? And this is a good example from the testimonial that you just read, right?
Mm.
Identifying
He
and
went
getting
in to save his
clarity.
girl, you know. He went in to save his
Sorry about that, guys. Identifying and getting clarity in your specific ideal client so that you can serve on a higher level, right? We talked about knowing your specific message. We've talked about narrowing your niche, but now let's talk about knowing your specific ideal client and what does that look like? Your ideal client is more than how much money they make, right? It's more than how much money they make. It's more than the demographics and their hobbies. Understanding your specific ideal client to the core helps create content that connects and copy that converts, right? Your service is not for everyone. It's not even for the people you think that it's for. Let me repeat that. Your services are not for everyone. It's not even for the people you think your services are for. Let me tell you why. As you are crafting your specific ideal client, your ideal client is a version of who you once were when you were getting through the problem you helped solve for others, right? The more you become clear of who you were during that season, the easier it will become to speak directly to your specific ideal client. Now, here's why I say that who you thought your ideal client, even if you think that your program is for them, it's not for them either. It's because as you evolve and as you grow, so will your ideal client. That's what I absolutely love about this process is that as long as you're working on it, it is constantly evolving. So who you served in the beginning of your coaching business will not be the same person you serve 5 years from now. Why? Because you've grown, right? And I say this all the time. If you don't heal, it won't work. When we talk about building your coaching business here at Chase Gray University, we talk about going beneath the traditional layers, not just the traditional marketing layers, but the traditional layers of showing up as the expert. You have to be willing to heal in certain areas so that you know how to speak to the problem of your ideal client. Keep in mind, everything that you've experienced is not about you and it's not for you. It is for the people that you are called to serve and support. So let's jump into our fourth strategy, right? Here's the fourth strategy. Focus on the specific problem so that you can enroll four-figure clients. Focus on the specific problem so that you can enroll four-figure clients. Yes, you can solve many problems, but only one problem will attract your four-figure client. Let's think about Shalita. Shalita just talked about how she enrolled in all of these different programs and how she was looking for a coach. She enrolled in Chase Great, and Chase Great has been able to help her in all of these different areas, right? And I know some of you are wondering, well, what does that have to do with niche coaching? What does that have to do with niche marketing? Here's what happens when you focus on solving one specific problem. Once you hone in on that one specific problem and you start to identify the behaviors that are the cause of that problem, that's how you're able to attract the client. Well, once you're in your programming, you'll begin to see other areas in their lives where you're going to be able to connect the dots. So let's use, for an example, messaging. When coaches come into the community and they're having a hard time crafting that specific message, it's only because we have to really chop down some areas where they're still struggling in, right? And so while I'm here to help you craft a specific message, once we've identified the areas of trauma that you've may experienced or the area of hurt or lack that you've may experience, now we're able to pull together a message that's going to speak directly to your ideal client. So understand that when you are establishing yourself as the expert in your coaching business, that you are focusing on a specific problem so that it speaks to the ideal client. But do know that that one specific problem will be a domino effect to other areas in their life. There, it is nearly impossible for you to help, even if you're a business coach, if you're not spending a good 35, 45% on mindset, then it's going to be difficult for that client to not only transform but stay transformed. Okay, I want you to consider in your coaching business, am I here to change the mindset of my consumer or am I here to change the moment? If you're here to change the moment, then you're right. You don't have to go beneath layers. You don't have to help them get to the root of things. You don't have to connect the dots because you're just looking for a quick fix. But if you're looking to change the mindset where it's not only going to change their present, but it's going to change their future, no, we can't change their past. And no, we don't dwell on the past. That's where that fine line between therapy and coaching becomes greater. But you do want to help them identify how to not allow their past to determine their future, right? And how do we do this? By identifying the specific problem you're called to solve so that you can attract your four-figure client. Understand that simplicity leads to more yeses than nos, right? When you hear no, you're no longer wondering why. When you hear yes, you know exactly how to serve. What do I mean? When you show up solving a specific problem, and when the ideal client says no or they're not ready, you're not trying to figure out, well, what did I do wrong, right? It's either one of two things: they're not ready to solve the problem, or they're not an ideal client. That releases the stress from you. Now I'm not searching. I'm not trying to figure out, well, what new program can I develop or what else can I offer or what else can I do? No, one of two things: they're not ready or they're not your ideal client, right? But once you hear that yes and they're ready to enroll, you know exactly how to serve them and you know how to show up and serve them at your greatest potential. Why? Because you've established yourself as the expert and you're well versed in the education and the experiences of the problem that you're called to solve. In the chat, give me a one if this is making sense. Give me a one if this is making sense. If you have questions, make sure you drop those questions in the chat where you still need a little bit more clarity. But if this is making sense to you, I'm sorry, drop a one in the chat. Cool. I am seeing the ones come through. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you ladies are following along with me. So, again, we're talking about focusing on that specific problem so that you can enroll for figure clients. Understand that the problem you solve is the root to the current behaviors your specific ideal client is exhibiting, right? And this is to reiterate what we just talked about. When you focus on a specific problem, you're able to show up well versed in identifying behaviors, beliefs, and emotions that are connected to the problem. Understand this: when you are building your business, a huge portion of your studying and developing is learning the ideal client, right? It's understanding their behaviors, it's understanding their beliefs, it's understanding their emotions. Now,
The
here's the
man wanted to
thing:
stick in the
when
casting.
you here's the thing when you are trying to solve every problem for everyone, what tends to happen is now you have to do what? Educate yourself in all of these different areas. So if you're a coach and you do business coaching, you do health coaching, you do wealth coaching, you do all of these different areas or serve in all of these different areas in the coaching business. When it's time for you to really sit down and understand the problem, you have to now divide up your time and become overwhelmed with all of these different areas. But if you focus in on a specific problem, if you focus in on a specific area, then guess what? Now you're able to become well versed and you're able to show up as the expert. So I want you to meet marketing coach Brittany Collins. The Chase Great Niche Certification Program has turned up the heat. Vision coach Latoya holds the coaches accountable and gives us the real on how to become six-figure earners in our coaching business. Level two has caused me to work diligently on my content to show up and get hired. As Vision coach Latoya goes higher, she is putting a demand on us too, and we must go higher as well. If I want to be successful in my coaching business, ascending is not an option. Latoya Early is the coach's coach. Absolutely. Listen, one thing that I want you to know about Chase Great University is that we are a community. And so it is our responsibility to grow together. This is not the community that is going to allow you to, where the coach stays in one space, but everyone else, stays behind. Nope, we all need to grow together. So let's do a quick recap. When you don't become niche specific in your coaching business, you risk the opportunity to truly help transform your client. Okay. When you don't become niche specific in your coaching business, you risk the opportunity to truly help transform the client. If you're not willing to heal, you'll find it extremely challenging to connect with your specific ideal client. This is how you create content. This is how you create copy when you've allowed yourself to heal in some of those broken areas. The problem you solve is not for everyone. It's not even for the people you think it's for. This is why it's important for you to get niche specific, to get specific in your messaging, to become specific in your ideal client, and then be specific in the problem that you solve. Why? Because what you do is not for everyone. And understand that as you grow and evolve, so will your ideal client. The longer you stay in general population, the harder it will become for you to stand out in the masses. The coaching industry is growing by the day. It is an amazing industry because we're in a ceilingless industry. It is a non-regulated industry. However, it is an ever-growing industry. Something that I share all the time with coaches. I hear people ask this question all the time: do I have to pay to become a coach? No, you don't. God has already called you to be a coach. When you invest into a coaching program, all it's doing is helping you really develop the skill so that you can develop the systems and the business side of coaching so that you can hit your money milestones. The certification programs and the trainings that you ladies are going and seeking after, that is not what establishes you as a coach. However, those programs and those systems is what helps you become a better coach. It's what helps you mold the skill so that you can not only speak to your specific ideal client, but that you can learn how to generate income while doing it, right? But the longer you stay in a space where you're not seeking out the training, you're not developing the skill, you're staying in general population, the harder it will become to stand out in the masses. So you need to know one more thing, and then we're going to move on. The shift in your coaching business is not about you. It's not. It's about the people you are called to serve. Every time you tell yourself no, or you tell yourself not right now, you're telling your specific ideal client that their pain isn't worth your process. Every time you tell yourself no, or you tell yourself not right now, you're telling your specific ideal client that their pain isn't worth your process. So here are a few limiting beliefs that I want to help you completely eliminate. Okay, I want to help you completely eliminate these limited beliefs. Number one, I'm incapable of generating six figures in my coaching business like the top influencers. Is there anyone who feels this way sometimes? Maybe you're telling yourself this, right? Maybe in the back of your mind, you're saying, there's no way I can do this. I used to tell myself this. This is going to be hard. Everything seems to be harder for me than others. Do sometimes you feel like things are harder for you than it is for other people? Where you watch the influencers, you watch the social media influencers, and you see their numbers rising, and you see their number of followers, and then you see, and then you see, and then you feel like it's harder for you, and you can't own up to that level. What about what I teach anyone can? What makes me so different? Are these some of the beliefs that you have? Some of the beliefs that you struggle with in your business? Some of the things, some of the thoughts that you may be having? Well, here's the truth. Here's the truth. Number one, I'm incapable of generating six figures in my coaching business like the top influencers. Let me tell you what the word of God says. Deuteronomy 8 and 18 says, you shall remember the Lord thy God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may confirm his covenant that he swore to your fathers, as it is to this day. Let me tell you why this scripture is my favorite scripture, one of my favorite scriptures. And that is because this scripture tells us that God has given us the power to gain wealth. But guess what? It don't have anything to do with you. It has everything to do with the covenant that he made, right? He's fulfilling a promise, and you're a part of the promise, and you have the power. Now it's time for you to show up and time for you to use it. Here's another truth, or here's a myth that I want to give you a truth. This is going to be hard. Everything seems to be harder for me than others. Matthew 11:28 through 30 says, come to me, all who labor and who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. It will not be hard for you. It will not be difficult for you. I want you to take a moment right now, and I want you to say that out loud. This is not hard. This will not be hard for me. For the word says to cast my cares upon him. That's not this scripture, but for the word says that he'll give you rest, right? This is not hard for you. What I teach, anyone can. What makes you so different? Let me tell you what makes you different. Isaiah 43:1 says, but now thus says the Lord, he who created you, oh, who's ever reading this. So I want you to read this for yourself. Let me look at these names. Oh, Sandra, oh, Rosie, oh, Colleen, oh, Stacy. He who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, for you are mine. He's already called you by name. This is what makes what you do different. He said, I've given each and every one of you something so uniquely different and set apart from the woman that is sitting next to you. But will you align yourself with my word so that I can show you who you are through me? So that I can show you how to show up, be specific in your niche, be specific in your message, be specific in the ideal client that I want you to work with, and be specific in your delivery, in your messaging, and how you bring forth the information that I have. Here's another scripture for you. But now, thus says the Lord, He who created you, oh, put your name here. He who formed you, put your name here. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to read this scripture out loud to yourself and put your name in those areas. He says, fear not, for I have redeemed you. He has called you by name. So let's go over some mindset. Mindset is the key to your next level. So if you didn't know that mindset was about 90% of your ability to shift in your business, now you know. Your thoughts. You have to tackle your thoughts. What are your thoughts telling you? When it's time for you to sit down and work on your business, when it's time for you to increase your price point, when it's time for you to show up as the expert on social media, whether or not you're going live, you're doing an audible live or a visual live, whether or not you're posting, what are your thoughts telling you? Are your thoughts telling you that you are the expert and you really can do this? Once you begin to capture your thoughts and you begin to think good thoughts, I want you to learn how to transition that into a feeling. How does it make you feel when you're confident in what you're delivering? You have to continuously tell yourself that you absolutely love what you do. If you do, I love coaching. So even in my bad days, coaching makes me feel great, right? And it's because of the thoughts. Even when my thoughts are telling me that, are trying to defeat me or trying to cause doubt, I then change my thought and I begin to fall in love with coaching all over again, falling in love with serving people and helping people shift their perspective. Your words. Understand that the investment for your program is what it is, and it is not based on the assumption of what's affordable. Use your words to build up and not break down. Even when it comes to you talking about your business, the Bible says that every idle word shall be judged. So while you may think that you're just saying it, out of frustration, maybe you're saying it because someone else told you, your power is in your words, your action. Understand that consistency and growth is what produces the business that you desire. Stop consuming information if you're not willing to implement them and apply action. Some of you have consumed so much information that you are on information overload, and it's because you haven't yet taken the time to implement what you have heard. Right? So we're talking about your actions and how understand there's a difference between, and I say this all the time, consistency and frequency, right? Your consistency is in your messaging. Be consistent in what you're delivering, right? And then your frequency is how often you're showing up. So once you are applying action to both your consistency and your frequency, guess what kind of results you're going to bring? Not just six figures, but multiple six figures. And it can definitely happen for you, but you have to be willing to shift your thinking. So I want you to meet forgiveness coach Sandra. one of our amazing coaches in the community. This is what Sandra had to say about working with Chase Gray University. It took a pandemic for her to stop and pivot, which led her to Coach Latoya and Chase Gray University niche certification program. Sandra said, I knew nothing about coaching and certainly nothing about working in a niche or having an ideal client. Chase Gray University's extensive trainings has helped me go from zero experience in coaching and building a business. Because of this program helping me to show up as an expert, my exposure to other experts and leaders continue to broaden and open collaborative opportunities and invitations. Listen, Coach Sandra, if I could just really elaborate on her for a while. When Coach Sandra first came into the community, when I tell you she came into the community just getting started, not really clear on who she was as a coach, not really clear on what the coaching industry could bring. And it is so amazing to watch how she has transformed. I encourage you to look into the My Six Figure group, find Coach Sandra in the group, connect with her, watch her growth, watch her transformation, and see how she has been able to evolve in the space. I absolutely love it. So let's talk about what's holding you back. And I want you to take a moment and I want you to think about this, okay? What's holding you back from the stories, or what's holding you back from really growing your coaching business are the stories we tell ourselves. What story are you telling yourself that is preventing you from showing up and being the expert in solving the problem that you're called to solve? What story are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself a story that maybe your mom told you? Right? Are you telling yourself a story maybe a previous employer told you? Maybe someone told you that there was no way that you can generate six figures in a coaching business. Who's going to pay you for that? Maybe you're telling yourself that you're not qualified or you're not good enough. Maybe you're telling yourself that your experiences doesn't yield a four-figure investment. What's really holding you back? Take a moment and identify the story that you're telling yourself that is preventing you from showing up. What story are you telling yourself that is keeping you from implementing the specific niche marketing method so that you can take your coaching business from start to six figures in your coaching niche? Creating a coaching business for a specific person that solves a specific problem is not as hard as letting your mindset stop you from achieving your next big goal. Let me tell you what happens when you keep allowing your mindset to stop you. It keeps following you. It's kind of like a bad dream. It seems like you're waking up from it because you say, yes, today I'm going to do it. But then something happens and then you get back into this bad dream and it continues to follow you. Have you ever had that ball of regret in the bottom of your stomach when you didn't do something that you know you were supposed to do? Understand that creating a coaching business for a specific person that solves a specific problem is not even equivalent to that type of discomfort. Is it going to be uncomfortable with changing your perspective, shifting your mindset, changing your messaging, committing to the process? Absolutely. But these are all things that are going to help you be a better you. But the moment you allow your mindset to stop you from achieving your next goal, it continues to haunt you. It continues to show up. It continues to remind you of your failures and what you could have done. Let's eliminate that feeling and let's go after everything you know you deserve and desire in your coaching business. What will making the shift do for you? I can't get that specific in my coaching business. I'll miss out on helping more people. Is this what you're telling yourself? Do you feel like you can't get as specific as we've talked about in this training because you feel like you're going to miss out on helping others? When the actual truth is, you're really doing your clients a disservice when you don't show up well versed and educated in the problem you solve because you're trying to serve everyone. Something that I learned the hard way. The same amount of effort it takes to enroll a client into a $97 program is the same amount of effort it takes to enroll someone in a $9,997 program. Same amount of effort. But let me tell you the difference in the results. The person that enrolled in that $97 program, you're trying to create volume. So now you need a bunch of enrollments at $97 versus now you're able to add value because you have this $9,997 client, and now you're able to focus in on their problem and really serve them at a higher level. It's all in shifting your perspective so that you can show up and be specific in the problem that you're called to solve. So here's the thing, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. You are here. Let's do a quick recap. The more specific you become in your coaching business, the bigger the transformation. The more specific you become in your coaching business, the bigger the transformation. The key to generating high impact and high income is showing up as the expert and solving a specific problem. The key to generating high impact and high income is showing up as the expert in solving a specific problem. So here's the thing, you can't reverse engineer this, right? While it sounds good to stay on the surface, it sounds like it's the steps that I've shared with you, you're able to implement, but there's so much more information and so many more moving parts to you being specific in your niche, specific in your messaging, your ideal client, and knowing how to show up and be specific in the problem that you're called to solve. So I want you to understand how important it is for you to take the time to really take a deep dive into understanding how to maneuver through these top 4 areas in your coaching business so that you can serve your client at a higher level and you're able to enroll them at a higher investment. Now you have a decision to make. Here's the decision. This decision is up to you. You can either one, implement what I've shared on your own. You can go into a deep dive and start getting super specific on those top 4 areas and continue trying to convince people you can help them at a price point that doesn't validate you as the expert. Or you can let me and my team help you, right? You can really allow me and my team to help you get specific in your niche so that you can establish yourself as the expert and enroll into the Chase Great University Niche Certification Program. So here's what you do. All you have to do is complete your application. But I get it, right? You're probably wondering if my team and I can truly help you shift in the areas we've discussed. We've been able to show you the top 4 steps in shifting in your coaching business so that you can show up in front of your specific ideal client as the expert. Not only has myself and my team been able to help the coaches in the community, but we've also been able to implement these exact proven strategies in our coaching business. The niche certification program was birthed in 2016. It was birthed out of this exact space, being confused about my message, not being confident in my title and the type of coach that I was, and not really understanding how to monetize what I was able to bring. I remember launching my first coaching program. It was an 8-week program for $125. Y'all, I owed the printing machine, the printer, the copy machine before I even got paid. What makes the Chase Great Niche Certification Program any different than the programs you've researched or previously invested in? What I love about Chase Great University is that we're a community. We have a community of women who are coming together each and every day to work on their businesses, to serve and support each other, and provide the guidance to moving forward. Not only do our certification programs certify you in your coaching niche, but we also provide you the tools to build your 6-figure coaching business. Most companies or programs that you enroll in are either certifying you or they're helping you build the business financially. This program allows you to not only develop the skill side of your coaching business, but also the business side. You have access to a copywriter helping you to learn how to create copy, build out your sales pages, your landing pages. Our program is uniquely designed to help the coach take your business from start to six figures in your coaching niche. Am I truly ready to commit to the process and time it'll take to validate my expertise and start generating the income I truly desire? Now, that's a question only you can answer. Are you ready to get off the hamster wheel? Are you ready to stop Googling and attending YouTube University and Google University looking for strategies to piece together? Or are you ready to finally work with someone who's going to help customize your journey so that you can be sure to really develop a business according to who you are and not according to what others say you should look like or who you should be? Now, this isn't for everyone, and I know that. So here's the thing: only apply if you're ready to commit to your six figure journey and make massive changes to your current perspective and routines. You're looking for a coach in a community that's going to give you honest feedback and help you get specific in your business, even if it's uncomfortable. You understand that your training isn't about you or for you. It's to serve your clients on a totally higher level. So here's my big why. I absolutely love serving women just like you. Why? Because I was once you. I was once struggling with getting specific in my coaching business because I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know what getting specific mean. When I heard about narrowing my niche, I thought I had narrowed it enough, right? I thought I had finally gotten to that sweet spot until I started to work with a coach and I started to dig deeper. I thought that because it was natural for me, it was no big deal to others until I started to fully operate in my niche and focus on the specific problem I was called to solve. Focusing on niche coaching allows me to help you see just how amazing you really are in solving a specific problem. In the Chase Gray University, I'm able to help pull out your genius and get you to focus on showing up as the expert so that you too can hit the six figure money milestone in your coaching business. So I encourage you to complete your application. Visit coachlatoya.com/, become a coach to complete your application. Once you've submitted your information, you can also schedule a call with us if you have more information. If you need more information. Understand that we do not accept every application that is submitted, and we have a limited amount of applications that are accepted per month. So make sure yours is one of them. Here's the link again for you to go ahead and apply. Once you've submitted your information, more enrollment information is going to be provided you once you visit the link. So visit the link, go ahead, submit your information. From there, you can apply for a call or you can move forward with the application. We do have funding support available. I am excited to make this an option for our new clients. That funding support is now available to our clients to help eliminate any barriers or roadblocks that may prevent you from getting specific in your coaching business. So, again, I thank you so much for rocking out with me during this bonus training. Go ahead and visit coachlatoya.com/, become a coach to complete your application. And I look forward to seeing you inside of the community. If you have any questions for me, do not hesitate to find me on social media at Latoya Early or email us at info@chasegreatenterprises.com. Again, thank you so much for rocking out with me during this live training. And I do hope that you implement what you've shared and join us over in Chase Great University. Be blessed.